If you're someone like me who uses AI tools extensively, have you ever thought of hosting an AI model on your computer which runs in the background? It can be because of various reasons, maybe purely for the love of self-hosting, or you just tired of paying for the subscription fee, or you are so concerned about the data privacy issue because you don't want the data to be leaving your computer, or it can be that you just want to use the AI model even if you don't have access to internet, or let it be any other reasons. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can run an AI model on your laptop which runs in the background and you have a conversation with it. You just can use the model just like how you use ChatGPT, Gemini, or any other prominent AI models. Also, if you're someone like me who used to think that to host your own AI model you require a lot of computational resources, a lot of RAM, dedicated GPU, well, that's not the case. I mean, at the end of the day, it really depends on what kind of AI model that you want to host. For most of the use cases, you can host an AI model which only might consume 4 to 5 GB of your RAM. This video I'll be using my Mac M4 Air with 16 GB of RAM. In case if you don't have the similar kind of laptop, don't worry, let it be any machine, Linux or a Windows machine. If you have around 8 to 16 GB of RAM, you're good to go. So the number one step is choosing what model to host. There are tons of open source models that you can choose from, and let's just see how that's done. So getting started, what you need to do is head towards Ollama, which is like this beautiful website you can see over here. In case if you're wondering what Ollama is, let me just give you a quick explanation. Ollama is basically a tool that is used for running open source model on your computer. In case if you're not using Ollama, then you're gonna have to do the whole initial setup, which is really time consuming and you probably don't want to do it. So Ollama, what it does is that it does all the heavy lifting for you, and what you need to do is just install the open source model which you think is suitable for your use case and can run efficiently on your laptop. Once you're done with the installation by running the command that you see over here, and we can explore what are the open source models that are available that we can host on our laptop based on the criteria we have. I'm looking for a model that can do the things that I use AI tools for mostly. That is like write an email for me, or convert a paragraph into professional tone, or maybe just write a simple Python script which can automate the things that I do on a daily basis. So for that, what you need to do is that click on the models, and you can see tons of models that you can pick from. If you are looking for a lightweight model that I can run on my laptop, which only consumes around 4 to 5 GB of RAM, and luckily enough, the second model, Qwen 3.5, I feel like this one is suitable for our use case. And if you're someone who might be thinking, how can I look at a model and come to a conclusion that I can run this on my laptop? For that, you just need to look at these numbers you see over here. So 2 billion, 4 billion, 9 billion, these are the parameters used by the models. It gives us an idea about how many GB of RAM is required for these models to run comfortably on our laptop or server. So once you scroll down, you get a lot more information. That these are like the applications that use this model. And when you scroll down, you can see the model names and the sizes that it requires. If you are downloading this on your computer or server, wherever, this is like the context window and also the input that it takes. So for this purpose, I'm gonna go with Qwen 2 billion parameter, which is gonna be of size 2.7 GB. Let's just see how we calculate the RAM required for this model roughly. This is not gonna be precise, but we're just gonna take a guess. So first of all, you need to look at the parameter which we have an idea about, that is 2 billion parameter. And the next thing is the quantization. Quantization means the precision of the model. So as you know, the AI models at the end of the day sees everything in numbers. So let's say if it has like a decimal number, for instance 3.147, so on and so forth. So if the quantization value is, let's say, 4, it is going to be less precise. So instead of having 3.1497 whatever, it can be 3.14, and when the quantization is 8, it is going to be more precise, which means it's going to have more decimal values. So the more quantization value it has, the more precise the model is going to be on a surface level. All right, so with these values we can have roughly an idea about the RAM required if you are hosting this model on your laptop or server. And how we calculate is that parameter value here is 2.27 billion, right? So let's just take 3 billion, let's just round it up and take it as 3 billion. And here the quantization value is 8-bit per parameter. So 8 bits means like 1 byte, and if you're doing the math, 3 times 1, and that is just 3 GB. And then we will add around 2.5 GB on top of that, which is roughly the context window. As you know, when you are having a conversation with an AI, it's just not that you're having like an independent conversation, right? Like every single question you ask is going to be a follow-up question of the previous question that you asked. So to have all that context cached on your RAM, you also need a little bit of space, a little bit of memory, which we roughly gonna assume as 2.5 GB in this case. So the total is gonna be 3 GB plus 2.5 GB, and that is gonna be 5.5 GB of RAM. So that is roughly the calculation here. Since the laptop that I'm running on has 16 GB of RAM, and all I need is just allocate 5 GB, this is gonna be butter smooth, hopefully. So let's just go back and proceed with the installation of Ollama. Let me just copy the command and run it on my command prompt, and just kind of wait. So this is gonna take some time. 5 to 10 minutes, hopefully. Okay, so if you have made it this far, that means you have successfully installed Ollama on your laptop, and you can download any open source model as you want and can run locally on your laptop. In case you're using MacBook and you found a similar error like this, like me, you don't have to worry about anything. If you reach until this point, that means you have successfully installed Ollama. The reason why you'll find it is I believe it is related to MacBook. What this necessarily means is that the MacBook was not able to find the application to open that up during the process of installation because it was not indexed yet in the Spotlight or the application folder that it has. If you want to make sure you want to confirm it, double confirm it, what you need to do is just run an open application / Ollama.app, which will open up the Ollama application for you, so you can double confirm it. Let me just do that real quick. You can open up Ollama app and you will see a similar interface. So this means the Ollama has been installed. Let's just see how you can download an open source model and run on your laptop. For that, let's go back to Ollama, and this is a model that we are planning to run. We need to specify the parameter that we're going to choose, and that is 2b. So for that, you need to scroll down and look for the 2b over here, and you can see the command that we're supposed to run. Copy this and move to the terminal. You just need to paste it, run. So it is pulling all the manifest files that are required to run the model, and it is 2.7 GB, like what was stated on the site. Now let's just wait until the entire download process is over. Alright, I think we are almost done with the download process. But let's just see. Okay, that's it. We are done with the download process, and here you can see that and a message. Alright, so I can chat with the model. Quen 3.5. Let's just say, hi, what's up? You can see the entire thinking process of the model, of how the model thinks and come to a conclusion of the response that is going to give us. So we're getting a sneak peek into how the models think, the internal conflicts that the models have. Apparently they're just like us. They overthink a lot before they come to a conclusion on what they should be replying to us. And parallelly, let's see the CPU utilization. Not sure if it's just me, but I always want my idle percent to be 50 plus. It doesn't matter what application I download on my laptop and how many applications are running in the background. So the CPU looks pretty okay. With the memory, it's not that bad, but it's not good. Somewhere in the middle. It's kind of like a warning state, I guess. This one is supposed to be green if you want the memory to be really healthy and good. But once the thinking, the internal monologue is about to be over, you can see it's getting green. Alright, it's turning from yellow to green, which is a good sign. So the pressure has been lowered a bit. Okay, everything is fine and healthy. That is a long internal monologue for a simple question, hi, what's up? So the reason why you're seeing all of these internal monologue is because the model that we installed is a reasoning model. For every single question, there's going to be an internal monologue, like a conversation that the model is going to have before they come to the conclusion. We got the response which says, hey there, not much about yourself today, ready to chat, help you out, or just hang out. Cool, this is fun. You can have a conversation with the AI model on your laptop from your terminal UI, but that is not really what I want. I want to have a beautiful web UI where I can talk with the model, just like what I do with ChatGPT or Gemini. Let's say I want to upload an image, drag and drop. That is more comfortable. And if you're looking for that kind of use case, there's also another open source tool that you can install on your laptop, which would help you set up the UI, and the model that is running on your laptop will be automatically integrated to this UI, and you can have a conversation with this model easily. And the setup is pretty straightforward. For that, what you need to do is head to Open WebUI. The first thing that you see, click on Get Open WebUI. Scroll down. So you can either install Open WebUI running pip command if you have Python on your laptop, but if you just want a proper installation, install the Docker way by running this Docker command. In case if you are someone who doesn't have Docker running on your laptop, you can install the Docker by going to the Docker website. So once you're in the Docker website, you can install the Docker desktop based on the operating system you're using. In case if you're using Mac, I wouldn't really recommend to install Docker desktop because it's too heavy. If you're using Mac, I would recommend you to use Orbstack. Orbstack is pretty lightweight. If you download this one, you can also have Docker container running on your Mac. And I feel like this one is pretty straightforward and also lightweight compared to Docker desktop. Once you download, you get a pop-up like this, and once you have that in place, all you need to do is open up your command prompt and make sure that Docker is running on your system. You can verify that by typing in Docker version, and it will get the version of the Docker that is running on your system. And once everything is in place, now you can install Open WebUI by running this Docker command. So once you run this Docker command, the Docker is now running on your system. And how can you verify that? You can just simply type in Docker PS. So once you type in Docker PS, you can see this is like the Docker image that is running on your system, and this is the port that you need to access if you want to access Open WebUI. Go back to your browser and type in localhost 3000, which is what we saw over here. So once you type in, you will be taken to this window. But this one has all the information about the model that is running on your laptop. In our case, it is Qwen 3.5. If we have any other model running on your laptop, you can pick that from this dropdown. So I've asked the Qwen model to create like a minimal portfolio website for my YouTube channel. I've also mentioned that it has to look not like AI generated one. It has to be minimal, aesthetic. And at the same time, you have to just use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But for some time, I was able to see the entire internal monologues over here. Finally, it just generated me this 100 plus lines of code. So I'll copy the entire code and I'll go to my anti-gravity text editor, paste the whole thing, save it, open the same file on any browser that we're using. Okay, this is the one, the YouTube portfolio website that was built by Qwen 3.5 model. It looks pretty minimal. Obviously there are some issues, especially on the footer. You can see it says 2024, whereas 2026 is, you know, the present year. But I feel like it can be because of the data that it's been trained on. But you know, the thing is, you might have like at least got an idea about the sciences of the entire model and how cool this is. Like, you don't even have to use any other external AI tools. You don't have to pay for anything. You just can host your own model. This is not even a heavy model. It's just, you know, consumes around 4 to 5 GB of RAM. Imagine how powerful it is going to be if you are hosting like a model with 122 billion parameters. I don't know. Heading back to the Qwen model, you can go to the settings here. There's a lot more things you can do with it. Actually, you can change the theme that you can choose, and also you can add a system prompt. So if you want the models to have some kind of restriction, let's say you are sharing this with your teammates or maybe with your friend, so you want to impose some kind of restrictions, you can add like the system prompt here. Every time you send a message to your AI model, it will just refer to the system prompt that you have in place and make sure the response is following the system prompt. And there are a couple of other advanced parameters as well, where you can mention the max token that can be used. So here it is 124, which is, I would say, pretty less. You can increase it to up until 3000 or 4000. And if you scroll down, there's a lot more things you can edit based on your choice. So next time when you're asking the AI model any questions, it will be following the setup, the parameters that you have set up. And there's data control over here and the account. I can change my password, the bio settings, and all that. There's now option for personalization, and also if you want to have some kind of integrations in place, you can do that too. And this is like interface customization. All right, this chat direction, data effects, all that kind of stuff is in place. And also if you want to get like an insight about the query, like a graphical representation, you have that too. You just need to click on the three dots here. Not the three dots, you can click on the controls over here, and if you go to the overview, you will get an idea about you know, the queries you have made. So yeah, that is pretty much a quick overview about Open WebUI. I thought this is like really cool, something that everyone can try out if you want to check out some, you know, open source models that are available on Ollama. So there are like tons of models that you can explore, models that you can run on your laptop, which will be running in the background and you wouldn't even know, and the models that you can run on your dedicated server. And if you have like a GPU well and good, there are a lot of models that can do text to image, image to video, which you can do by, you know, with the help of like open source tools like Comfy UI and all that, which maybe like in another video we can discuss. Anyway, that's pretty much about today's video. If you like it, just let me know. I hope you all will give it a shot, and also let me know how it went in the comments, and I'll see you in the next.